Players fighting fans. Pretty crazy stuff, right? Mike Milbury beat a fan with his own shoe in 1979. And lately, there's been a few clips circulating online from senior hockey leagues where fans are getting into it with players. And when I look back at all the games I've worked, I can only think of one situation where players actually got into it with fans. Sure, there's been situations where fans are throwing popcorn or drinks at the visiting team bench, but actual fighting with the fan, it happened once. And if you're officiating higher levels of hockey, you need to know how to react and how to handle these situations because they might only happen once or twice in your entire career. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to handle a crazy situation like this, and I've even got my favorite NHL example. And if you don't know me, I'm Seth Ferguson. I've got over 20 years of pro, major, junior, and junior hockey experience, and I help referees call their best game. So what's the story here? It was a Junior A playoff game, pretty deep in the playoffs. It was a pretty intense game and the fans were really getting into it. There had been some issues with fans during the game. Drinks were definitely flowing, let's say that. So this was an older rink and the visiting team's tunnel to the dressing room wasn't covered. So the fans could stand right above it and right beside it and just absolutely give it to the boys going off the ice. And that's exactly what happened. The game ended, emotions were high, the fans were throwing stuff, pouring drinks, and just being a nuisance. Some of the players tried to retaliate with their sticks when they were leaving the ice. Not a good situation. And as officials, our first mistake in this game was exiting the ice and going to our dressing room before all the players were in their dressing room. We left that area once they were off the ice, but we didn't make sure they were in their room because about 30 seconds after we sat down in our room, someone knocked on the door and said the players were fighting with the fans. Hey, real quick, if you're a referee or linesman, this is for you. I've taken 20 plus years of junior, major, junior, and pro level experience and packed it into our free school community. We're doing live coaching, game tape breakdowns, and I'm showing you exactly how to implement pro-level mechanics into your game right now. It's totally free to join. Click the link below, and I'll see you on the ice. I had my sweater off at this point. The other guys had taken off some of their equipment too, and so we came out of the room half-dressed, back out into the tunnel, and saw the players getting into it with a group of fans. Now, being a Junior A game, there was no police or security guards. This just wouldn't happen at a higher level major, junior, or pro game today, but for a regular junior hockey game, there's really no security, and it just doesn't have that high level of production. And I'm 5'10", so I'm not too much help in a situation like this, but one of the linesmen was a pretty big guy who went on to have a pretty good hockey career. So we worked our way into the crowd to try and separate the players. It was a total mess. Then out came the coaches who were trying to clear things out too. Now, we got back into the dressing room once everything settled down. I had never seen anything like that before, and we had a very experienced supervisor at that game who had seen some things back in the heyday of the Donnybrooks back in the day. He had a really great piece of advice. As soon as our dressing room door closes, it stays closed. If the player goes down the hall to fight the other team, game's over, the door stays closed. A player goes into the stands after the game, the door stays closed, game's over. Our job is to referee the game on the ice. If someone goes into the stands or starts fighting down the hallway after the game, that's not something the officials should be getting involved with. That's a venue security issue, and that's a league issue. We certainly submit a report to the league about what's being told to us, but we do not get involved. Only bad things can happen. Nothing good can come out of us getting involved at that point. If a fan trips and falls and now you're there, well, you're involved. If a coach gets KO'd by a player at the other end of the tunnel after the game and you're there, well, now you're involved. But once the game's over and your dressing room door closes, it's not your issue anymore. It's a league issue. So never get involved with players and fans off the ice after the game. But what do you do if this starts to happen? Well, first of all, what we should have done is brought the visiting team onto the ice to get them away from the fans. Get some separation and some space. At that point, we can decide to send them down a different tunnel, or we simply wait until the venue clears them out or they call the police. It's far better to wait and be safe than to send players down a tunnel where bad things might happen. We didn't do that, so don't make the same mistake. The same thing applies to fans throwing things into the players' bench during the game. If the players are getting popcorn, hot dogs, and beers thrown at them, that's a safety hazard, especially for the coaching staff who's not even wearing helmets. So if you don't react as a referee, the players are going to get frustrated, and you're setting the stage for them to retaliate at some point down the road. So instead, bring the players onto the ice, stop the game away from the shower of debris, and wait for the venue to clear those fans out. Now, major, junior, and pro rinks are going to have ushers and paid duty police on site, and these types of things get spotted and dealt with pretty quickly. But if you're working lower levels of hockey, it's far better to delay the game for 5 to 10 minutes and be safe, rather than set yourself up for a potential incident later on in the game. But what happens if a fan runs up to the bench on the ice and actually tries to fight a player? Well, this brings us to 1993, my favorite, when Rob Ray tuned up a fan who absolutely tried to do that. As a linesman, you're probably going to take your time getting over there because you really don't want to get in front of Rob Ray. And if you're a referee looking for more training and support, I want to invite you to join our free school community specifically for hockey referees. Click the link below, and I'll see you on the ice.